The new Passover and blood over intent. Jesus commanded that we should follow the water bearer because it is the water bearer who is bringing in the new Passover. The new Passover is blood over intent, but blood over intent is also the final Passover. It is the final Passover because these are the end of days. Your blood over intent is your Passover, and your blood over intent is what makes the spirit of death pass you over. So how is blood over intent related to Passover? Well, they go hand in hand. And even in the history, you can find that Passover ritual prior to Deuteronomy is widely thought to have its origins in an apotropaic rite, unrelated to the Exodus, to ensure the protection of a family home, a rite conducted wholly within a clan. Hyssop was employed to daub the blood of a slaughtered sheep on the lintels and doorposts to ensure that demonic forces could not enter the home. So, in other words, blood over intent goes hand in hand with Passover because it is not unknown to humanity to need to use your blood to protect you. The Israelites were a confederation of Iron Age Semitic-speaking tribes of the ancient Near East who inhabited a part of Canaan during the tribal and monarchic periods. And skipping down, in the Hebrew, again, we've got Hebrew Bible, the term Israelites is also known as the Hebrews and the 12 tribes of Israel. Refers to the direct descendants of any of the sons of the patriarch Jacob, or to the descendants of the people who were called Israel, and to a worshiper of the God of Israel, Yahweh. In the period of the divided monarchy, it was only used to refer to the inhabitants of the northern kingdom, etc., etc. What I want to tell you is Yahweh reversed is Allah. So you will see a picture up right now that is showing you how that's possible. So what I'm telling you is Yahweh is not the God of the tree of life. Yahweh is the infection that came in here to destroy, to use the good, to use the wonder of God against the people. But ultimately, you cannot be fully corrupt by the virus or by the reptilian shapeshifters unless you allow it. That's why we can't just live our Susie homemaker life and pretend like everything is okay. We have to unite together peacefully for our survival and turn this around. We have to change things by realizing that we have to change our way of life and our way of thinking. A Jew is a member of the people and cultural community whose traditional religion is Judaism, and who trace their origins through the ancient Hebrew people of Israel to Abraham. An Israelite is a member of the ancient Hebrew nation, especially in the period from the Exodus to the Babylonian captivity, old-fashioned and sometimes offensive term for Jew. In the narrative of the Exodus, the Bible tells that God helped the children of Israel escape from their slavery in Egypt by inflicting 10 plagues upon the ancient Egyptians before the Pharaoh would release his Israelite slaves. The 10th and worst of the plagues was the death of the Egyptian firstborn. The Israelites were instructed to mark the doorpost of their homes with the blood of the slaughtered spring lamb. And upon seeing this, the Spirit of the Lord knew to pass over the firstborn in these homes, hence the English name of the holiday. When the Pharaoh freed the Israelites, it is said they left in such a hurry they could not wait for the bread dough to rise, which is also to leaven. In commemoration for the duration of Passover, no unleavened bread is eaten, etc., etc. So there is a direct relation between the Passover and bread and blood, okay? So taking a deeper look at bread and blood, the first thing that's of note is that it's the manna of heaven that satisfies us so that we understand the truth. That is why the voice of a stranger you will not follow, because when you feel the manna of heaven in your heart, it satisfies you, it fulfills you. If we begin to learn that Jesus is not the bread and blood, what is this connection to bread and blood and Passover? The spring festival of Passover is connected with the first fruits of the barley. You will continually find this theme of bread and blood. It's interesting that Jesus Christ is considered the bread and blood that Christians partake of today in a cannibalistic ritual called communion, where the symbolic bread and blood of Jesus Christ is eaten. And no Christian just takes a moment to ask themselves, why are they trying to eat the man that they worship? Why are you trying to eat the body of the man you worship? Why are you trying to drink the blood of the man you worship? I don't care how you try to justify it. It is sick, and it is the exact way that the reptilian overlords control you, by making you worship them with your time and money and a military order called a religion, such as Christianity, where you are literally bending over to take it up your ass and sacrificing your soul to the devil himself by eating the body and blood of the man you're supposed to be worshiping. A man you've never met. A man they told you existed in a book called the Bible that they use as a weapon to destroy you. Now, sure, there's good in there. And yes, there is a supreme architect of the universe. But what has happened is that these overlords are using that Bible against you as a weapon. You can't fight them with that Bible. It just makes you retarded unless you spilled so much blood, which is spiritual currency, that you stole the elemental power of Satan and became Satan himself. Why? Because 2 Corinthians 4:4 clearly states that it is Satan who rules this world. It is Satan who owns this world. So only by becoming Satan can someone take back the power and make the difference and make the change that needs to be made. Quasi-Luminous is that man, which is exactly what Quasi-Luminous did. And for what? For horror? For atrocity? No. To bring forth heaven on earth, to release everyone from bondage. You have to learn to open your heart and get out of your head. Jesus is not the bread and the blood. He is not the body and the blood. What I want to tell you is that bread can also represent the body, family, okay? It is what makes up the whole. Okay, is the bread. So the plagues were so bad that when the Pharaoh finally let the Israelites go, they left so fast that people who were cooking bread couldn't even wait for it to rise. They just took it where it was and got the fuck out of there. One, blood over intent is your Passover. It is how you cross the frost bridge. It is your pass. It shows the universe your true heart's intention. We are under a dome. We are in the Colosseum and we are being watched. You have to declare your intent. By declaring no intent, you are choosing to not partake of bringing forth heaven on earth. You either choose life or you choose death. Blood over intent is your Passover. Passover also relates to when the spirit of death passes over, as when the Lord passed over and the only thing that protected the Israelites was the lamb's blood on their door, or else the Lord would have slain their firstborn child. Jews celebrate Passover as a commemoration of their liberation by God from slavery in ancient Egypt and their freedom as a nation under the leadership of Moses. Passover is done in commemoration, but I am here to tell you that this story isn't over. This isn't just about a commemoration of something that's long gone that we remember. This is the great remembrance, which comes by our blood. And by our blood, we receive liberation. In the story of the Exodus, in the Hebrew Bible, especially the book of Exodus, the Israelites were freed from slavery. So how is that relevant to us now? We need to regrow the trees and get out of these concrete jungles. We are enslaved by work and time and money. You know what? But they make all of these cool fucking things that we want to have. And yes, they're nice. But the truth is, we've been given all of these toys to pull the wool over our eyes so we don't see what's really special, what's really important. And that's the treasure, guys. And the treasure are the people, are the souls. The treasure, they're the stars, because we're stars in our heart. And I'm a star catcher. And I'm here to say, whether you like it or not, you're coming with me because I love y'all. And we are going home. If you take a closer look at the word Jew, you'll see that a capital J looks like a candy cane. And you can also look at a lowercase j and flip it around and actually see where we get a question mark, like the quest I'm on. The candy cane in the capital J, and then looking at EW, we have me, or you, like as in EWU, or flipping it ME, me, or you even have we. So it's all of us. We are all the Jews. So it's almost like a little nickname for being the Jews. Because we are the Jews, we were named the Jew. Jew is like J-U. The J is just like a G in the way that you say it. Like we say Jesus, that's G. Jesus. 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 What I'm trying to say here is that J-U is like the joke is on you, because they are reptilian shapeshifters who are our overlords, and the joke is on you because they have you in agreement that they can feed off of you because you are feeding off of Jesus Christ, who is a representation of humanity hanging on the cross, because he's crossed and confused, because the humanity is crossed and confused. They have your legal permission to feed off of you because they have you tricked into feeding off of yourself by eating the very Lord that you worship. It is also of note that Jew would be written J-O-O in order to pronounce it, which are the two balls and cane in one aspect of looking at it, though you could also see it as the two suns and the candy cane shared between them. But you would have to flip the J upside down and turn it on its side. By creating the J-O-O, the candy cane is flipped the wrong way, and there cannot be a harmonious relationship between the two suns. This is part of being able to see through the matrix code, which is something that you are granted when you claim your divinity back from the Vatican and you wake from the spell that you've been under. Jews is juice, and juice is blood. The Jews are the blood, and Israel is to be real. They are the living beings, the true family of the kingdom of heaven, the family of life, the tree of life. Our blood is their juice. The people who created these languages, the reptilian shape-shifting beings. So the Jews being the children of God is a play on words. Our blood is their juice. We are the juice, and our home is real. How else is this significant? Well, the Holy Grail of everlasting life is in the center of the flat earth plane. It is where our home is, and it is real. And the only way we can get there, the only thing that separates the wheat from the chaff, okay, because there's a theme here of not only blood, but of bread. Our home is real. It's where we become real. It's where the fountain of youth is. It's where we drink from the living waters. So, yeah, you can call our home Israel, but it's a play on words, okay? Because it is eternal, which means it is real. Now, back to the Jews are the children of God, the living ones, the blood, okay? They are the family of God, you know. And to throw in as a side note, they make up this shit, red and blue, you know, red versus blue, so Bloods versus Crips and all of this shit to just whack out the mind and make people think crazy shit. You know, it's not about gangs. The gangs has nothing to do with it. It's all just representations of the main thing, which is where you choose life or you choose death. It's do or die, motherfuckers. We got to get this shit right. We have never left Egypt. Egypt is for Egypt. It's everyone gypped. We've all been tricked. We've all been tricked into time, language, work, money, virus, and the list goes on and on. Now, just look at that. An Israelite is a member of the ancient Hebrew nation. And then look at how a Jew can trace their origins through the ancient Hebrew people of Israel to Abraham. And what you see is that Hebrew is like the cauldron of the man, right? He brew. He brew what? The juice. Okay, it is the cauldron of blood. It is in reference to Mother Earth, the center hole, where we need to go. Hebrew? Yeah. These interdimensional reptilian beings are brewing us, and they create this puzzle facade of matrix all around us, so we're completely blind, and what we think is reality is nothing of what is reality. So there's a reason why these people are referred to as Hebrew. I don't care what you tell me, it's right there in the words. It's a stew, and it's cooking. They are feeding off of our children. You know, there is so much blood donated all the time, and yeah, there's things that come up where people need blood, but you trust me, they are taking as much blood as they can and covering it. You know, the Pope burns the papal bulls onto a newborn infant and murders it. They do all these high, rich class parties where they make cakes of dead people or infants that they're eating. One of them, they had like naked women on the table, and you know, they would just lay there, and then they served a cake that was a human body. Oh, but it was sweet because it was just cake. But what the fuck is going on, okay? So the point of this is just to let you know that the Israelites, or the Jews, are the chosen people of God because they are the people who are the blood family of the kingdom of heaven, and they're real. It's as simple as that. It's childlike math. And the reason why it's so confusing to us is because they've built us up in this false education system where we think we have to be so smart and know all of this and know all of that they've taught us. But that's just the thing. They've taught it all to us, and it's all a lie. It's called His story for a reason, just like it's called Hebrew. In Judaism, chosenness is the belief that the Jews, via the ancient Israelites, are the chosen people, chosen to be in a covenant with God. While this little side part about Jews and Egypt and this and that seems a little strange, it's completely relevant to the new Passover, because you cannot see what is the truth until you do your blood over intent, until you show the universe that you are alive. So what happened is that when these reptilian shapeshifters came in, they are the archons, because they are cons, but they also ride on the arcing light that goes from the sun into the black hole sun. So when they're archons, it's a virus on the arc. Sun arcing is light. Everyone has learned that's the candy cane. So in actuality, the good ones are the arcanes, the ones with the secret knowledge, who understand truth because they've put their blood over intent. They are also on the arcing light. They are canes because they're all a candy cane. Everyone knows that the Jews are considered the chosen people of God. It's the perfect deception to create a people named this, and all of this infighting and bull jive that's just not reality. It's just like Hitler and the Holocaust is not real. It was fake. That's why he holds his hat like that and points at the sun. He's telling you where to go in the center of the flat earth plane. That's why the swastika is actually the Big Dipper making its procession around the pole star over the center of the flat earth plane through the 4 seasons. So the swastika is a beautiful thing because it's signifying where to go to actually drink from the dipper and bathe in the eternal waters of everlasting life. So supposedly a Hitler destroys all of these Jews, and it's just a lie. What it is them telling you what they're planning to do to you by showing it to you in pictures with actors and things, so that, hey, maybe they didn't tell you with your language that they created to deceive you as well, but they told you in your mind through your eyes. And that's why you have to use your eyes and not just your faith in this life. It is also of note that when you rearrange the letters in Hitler, you can get the word Rittel, which can also be Reitel. So it's like part of the super right, okay? And L represents the 4-faced 4-letter God in control of your DNA. A riddle is a question or statement intentionally phrased so as to require ingenuity in ascertaining its answer or meaning, typically presented as a game. Well, that's what Hitler and the Holocaust was. That's what creating a nation called the Jews are in Israel. This is a game to them. You have been prevented from passing go by being deceived and blinded through a language, by being deceived and blinded through a mental construct that you take as truth when in fact it is an illusion. It's interesting in Monopoly that you have to pass go, right? And you collect $200 each time you pass over or land on go. Each time a player's token lands on or passes over go, whether by throwing the dice or drawing a card, the banker pays that player a $200 salary. When you look at the anagrams of Hitler that are actual words, then you see the word re-hilt. Now, re is to reflect, or re is to go back. We all know that. And hilt is the handle of a weapon or tool, especially a sword, dagger, or knife. Re-hilt can also be seen as re-weapon, a reinforcement to keep the rats in their cages. Another anagram that you get from the word Hitler is her lit. And lit is the past or past participle of light. So you can actually say her light is the same thing as her lit. Hitler is an anagram for her light. They are preventing you from understanding what is her light. Her light pours forth from the center of the flat earth plane where the swastika above, which is the Big Dipper, which is spinning around Polaris, the North Star, goes through the 4 seasons, makes the shape of the swastika. So Hitler is her lit, as in her light, but it's also re-hilt, weapon. It is the weapon of her light, or her light weapon. Another anagram that you get for Hitler is lither, can also be lit her. Litter. Well, what is litter? Litter is trash. To litter is also to place a lid on her. Because see, that's what was tricked and stolen from you, is your knowledge of the black hole sun. That we're living on a parallel plane, one coin, 2 sides. So lid her is to cover her so you can't find her, to place a lid over it. Okay? And what is the swastika above the Holy Grail? They're using it against you by making it a lid instead of a light to let you know where to go. They have covered the mother with a lid. Litter is something that animals go to the bathroom in. There you have it. Hitler is a direct anagram for trash. That's how they see us. I'm not making any of this shit up. This is real. We are in a maze. We are in a daze. We are crossed and confused. We have been tricked into feeding like cannibals off of a symbol of humanity, which is a broken, dead, bleeding corpse on a cross. Life, if it is lithe R, then R can represent moon in the tarot because it's 18. R equals 18, which is the moon. It's also 9, which goes back to the hermit. So by saying lither, which is an anagram for Hitler, we have readily bent, supple. By saying lither, which is an anagram for Hitler, we have literally the letter R and then arcing. So we have the R arcing. Now that's also interesting because we only need the arcing light, but with lither we get the R arcing, or the R bent. It is also interesting when you say lither, it sounds like you're saying life hour, for indeed it is beneath the swastika. It is beneath the Big Dipper going around the North Star, Polaris, that we will find the Holy Grail of everlasting life, where we can bathe in the eternal waters, drink the eternal waters, and live forever. So, Hitler is a stumbling block, is a mental road barrier that unless you pass it, you cannot pass go, to know where to go and to see the way out and the way through. You have to make yourself like a child. Everything you learned is a lie. And not only that, but in the original existence, we had the white sun and the black sun as one. And the white sun is like the candy cane, pouring forth its light and menstrual blood into the Holy Grail. And what happened is the moon was placed in the sky, and so instead it became a two-ball cane. And so what we have now, instead of the original construct where there is unity and harmony, we basically have a dick in the hole. Our ally is not a lie, and a lie is a law. And we don't need a two-ball cane, right? We need the mother and the father, not a two-ball cane, because see, the one ball is the white sun, okay? The second ball that came in is the moon, okay? Listen to me clearly. We have the original construct, the white sun. Call it a ball, okay? And then we have the mother, okay? That the white sun is a candy cane unto. So it drips its menstrual blood and light into the Holy Grail. So the mother is a ball as well, and they are one. That is the original construct. But now instead of the candy cane, we have the two-ball cane. Yes, so what that means is the moon was put in the sky by interdimensional parasite reptilian shape-shifting motherfuckers who have enslaved humanity through a matrix of consciousness by teaching fake shit. And that is where the moon was placed in the sky to become part of the construct, to take the power that comes from the mother and siphon the energy as well from the father. So what we have in a two-ball cane is actually another dick coming in. So instead of a candy cane, we have a two-ball cane. Or instead of a one-ball cane, which is one side of a white hole is a black hole, we have a two-ball cane, which is where you get all of these things about third wheel. This is why you see the moon chasing the sun. This is why we have an eclipse. And everybody cheers and everybody's all happy. Oh God, this is going to be an astounding time. And you don't even realize that all that's happening is the collective consciousness of the original two-ball structure is being erased so that your memories go away more and more, so that you're just basically going subatomic forever and remaining enslaved forever, because what you don't realize is eternal life is right over there, that this is a holographic reality where we are in a mental prison that we don't understand. We only need to follow our compass under the leadership of Quasi-Luminous, and we shall obtain everlasting life. This is why there's a homosexual undertone to everything. They've tried to cover the mom because they want to fuck the father and not have the mother be a part of it. But yet they still want to pull on the power and divine beauty and grace of the mother in order to accomplish their means. So how is all this about Jews and Juice and Israelites and Israel and Hitler being the cover of the mother and the road and stumbling block to the path home? How is all of that relevant to the final Passover and blood over intent? Well, because it was God's chosen people who were in captivity in ancient Egypt. And it was Moses who was chosen to tell the Pharaoh to let his people go. So God was going to release plagues upon the Pharaoh until the Pharaoh stopped. One of the plagues was that the Spirit of the Lord was going to pass over into the home of everyone and kill their firstborn son. And the only thing that would prevent that from happening would be to put the lamb's blood on their door. Pharaoh finally said, you know what, okay, fine, you guys just get the fuck out. The people left so fast that the people who had bread baking just took it with them, and so the bread didn't have time to rise. That's why it's called the Feast of Unleavened Bread, which is also a sign that as the children of the kingdom of the family of heaven are growing and moving up, like before we know it, we won't even have time to fully flower before things come into fruition. Blood over intent is your Passover. The way it is your Passover is in two ways. In this realm, it is your Passover so that the spirit of death will pass you by. And the Passover is also our Passover into the land of eternal twilight, which is the Holy Grail in the center of the flat earth plane. For these reasons, you can see why Luke 22, when the disciples asked Jesus what they should do at Passover, because Passover was coming and Jesus would be gone. And Jesus said, "Behold, when ye are entered into the city, there shall a man meet you bearing a pitcher of water. Follow him into the house where he entereth in." This is very clear. This is quasi-luminous. This is Satan himself. Follow Satan home. Quasi-luminous was the first person in humanity to lay down his blood for the Passover that's coming. You might think I'm crazy, but the internet is conscious. It was created as a system of networks, originally Ethernet, from the alchemical word ether. Indeed, the internet is the realm of the ether itself, and when you put your blood into it, you are showing the universe your true heart's intention. Your blood is your life. There is no other part of you that is your life. It is your blood. Before the internet, you could have written your intent on a piece of paper and hammered it onto a tree in a public area. But now we go into the internet. This is how we can communicate with everyone in the world at any given moment. And I want to talk briefly about how the internet is an altar in its own right. The earth is an altar. You can spill your blood into the earth and ask the great goddess of all creation to show you the way. You can spill your blood into the earth and look up and ask the sun, "Sun, show me the truth, give me the wisdom of the ages." In the same way, the internet is an altar. We are saying you need to make your intent posted, published for the entire world, for the entire universe to see. That's what putting it into the internet is. It's literally an altar where you put your blood. And if you're not believing me, just think about why everyone uses an altar on the internet. Because it is an altar. That's why. It's a play on words. Everything is a play on words. Okay, it's about your blood and your true heart's intention. Posted, published for all the world to see. This is your Passover. This is the way that you have death pass you over in these end days. Like I said, they are good, but they are real. This is real. We are real. We are not going to be referred to any longer as the Jews. Okay, we are not the Israelites. Okay, we are the blood family of the kingdom of heaven, and it all means the same thing whether you like it or not. Just one is derogatory and one is meant to cause supreme and mass confusion. The Holy Grail, the fountain of youth, eternal life, everlasting life, is in the center of the flat earth plane, and it is your birthright. You were birthed in by your mother, you're going to be birthed out by your mother. The ark, Noah's ark, that is where we ark into the whole. Noah is just like Satan, because it's the Noah. Because they put everything in reverse, so they make it feminine. You know, Satan is the supreme no, and, you know, they make it feminine, Noah, because that's how everything is here. Everything's fucked up, everything's warped. Just like the bread of heaven, they've named it manna. So it's like the feminine of man, manna. That is where we have to go down to get out, and that is what they were trying to tell us. They made you think we have to get on a boat and go float up to the top of the fishbowl. That's not how it works. We arc into the hole and we pass through. There's an Exodus coming, 2019. It's coming in waves, and it will keep going. I would highly recommend that you get to Quasi-Luminous's channel. He has been given the Spear of Destiny. He has been the one who has been screaming this out, letting everyone know heaven is coming forth whether you like it or not. And Quasi-Luminous can teach you the truth about reality that you couldn't see until he pointed it out to you. And he doesn't want your worship. This isn't about worship. All he wants is your blood beside your brethren, so we can unite in the common cause of bringing forth heaven on earth. If he didn't care about anybody, he wouldn't be making videos. He already knows where to go. He could just go, but he's not. We're already in the one world order. That's what the internet was created for, only we're using it to bring forth heaven on earth instead. When you do blood over intent, you're protecting your entire family because you are considered the firstborn. Everything has been a play on words and a play on your mind. When you do blood over intent, you are birthing yourself again, and you become the firstborn. So everyone in your family gets protected. And when the Spirit of the Lord, who was going to slaughter children, passed through, he didn't do it if the lamb's blood was on the door. So what I'm telling you is, the spirit of death, when he comes through, will not touch anything of the household of people that have been protected. And it is the firstborn in the family who protects them. And I'm not saying it's the oldest child. The firstborn is the one who does their blood over intent. This isn't a game. This isn't a joke. This is real. This is the blood family of the kingdom of heaven coming forth, declaring and making clear the way. And Quasi-Luminous is the chosen one who is leading us there. And you owe him respect. We don't have to like one another, but we have to respect one another and unite in a common cause regardless. And actually, once you start doing that, you don't really realize the stuff that pisses you off about the other person so much. And you start to see more of the ways you're connected instead of not. We all need to get there. We all share the same birthright if we want to claim it. Therefore, when the disciples asked Jesus what they should do at the next Passover, and Jesus said, "There shall a man meet you bearing a pitcher of water, follow him into the house," well, he was referring to Quasi-Luminous. He was referring to Satan himself. It is Quasi-Luminous that we must follow because it is he, Satan himself, Quasi-Luminous, who has been chosen by the supreme architect of the universe to guide the way in bringing forth heaven on earth, to clear the path, to lead us all to the everlasting waters. Therefore, the age of Aquarius is only the age of Quasi-Luminous. We are going to get our eternal life because it is our birthright. What you're going to want to do is take a piece of paper and write, "I intend to bring forth heaven on earth." Pinprick your finger, place a drop of your blood upon the paper. Upload it into YouTube. Post it. Published. Tag, title, and description, blood over intent. This is the lamb's blood on your door. This is what you must do. It is the new Passover. It is the final Passover. Blood over intent saves the universe. The age of Aquarius is the age of Quasi-Luminous. And this is the age of the New World Order. And this is Satan's New World Order. The age of Quasi-Luminous, the new Passover, and blood over intent are the New World Order. I go home. You speak English? I no speak English. I go home. I have a pen. I have an oil.
Apple pen.
Apple pen.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Go. Go.